Welcome back into the Rockers pregame show. For those of you tuning in on YouTube and around the ballpark, welcome in for Game 4 of the South Division Series. The Honey Hunters lead it 2-1, making this a must-win for the High Point Rockers. Win or else go home. Well, or at least pack it up for the offseason. We are in High Point after all. But anyways, let's not worry too much about the fine print because it's a pretty simple scenario here for the Rockers. And it starts offensively. This is a team that needs to find a way to heat up the bats a little bit more than yesterday. And you will see Jamie Keefe has made a couple of changes to his lineup. Speaking of lineups, let's go ahead and jump right in to our starting lineups. And we'll begin with Mauro Gazzo and his Gastonia lineup today. Leading off is the left fielder Reese Hampton. Batting in the number 2 spot is Jack Reinheimer. He is the shortstop this evening. Batting third is Joseph Rosa, the second baseman, while the cleanup hitter is right fielder Zach Jarrett. Hitting fifth is Jake Skoll in center field. Luis Castro, the first baseman, will bat sixth. Hitting seventh, playing third base today is Cole Freeman. Luis Roman, the designated hitter, will bat in the number 8 slot. Catching tonight, Stuart Levy. He is batting ninth. Player to watch for Gastonia, well, really it's the and I say this really more serious than not. It's the top 6 in the lineup. All of them have been extremely productive. And I guess another way that we could say that is look at the bottom 3. They've struggled in this series. Luis Roman and Stuart Levy specifically, a combined 0 for 13 in the first 10 games of this, or the first 3 games in this series. So I think it's going to be really, really important tonight for High Point pitching to be able to minimize the damage from the bottom of this lineup, especially when you consider the fact that they have been struggling recently. So I think for High Point, if you can minimize the damage at the bottom, because look, the thing is, this is a talented lineup, and you're not going to be able to get everybody out to those first 6 every single time. So knowing you're probably going to have a hiccup here or there makes it all the more important to get the guys out at the bottom of the lineup. For High Point, the lineup that Jamie Keefe puts together, Michael Russell is the third baseman leading off. Batting in the number 2 spot is Ben Aklinski, who is the center fielder. Batting third is Logan Morrison at first base. Quincy Lattimore is the left fielder. He is the cleanup hitter. Xander Wheel, the designated hitter, will bat 5th. Tyler Ladendorf will man second base today, batting 6th. Hitting 7th, playing right field, is Roldani Baldwin. Batting 8th, making his postseason debut this year, is Giovanni Alfonso. He's the shortstop today. Logan Moore, the catcher, will bat in the number 9 spot. Really a couple of guys specifically. It's the 7-8 part of the lineup that we're watching today for the Rockers. Roldani Baldwin has struggled a little bit offensively. And then Giovanni Alfonso, what kind of spark can he provide for this offense, especially a Rockers offense that only had 2 hits yesterday, and the only runs came in on a 2-run home run off of the bat of Ben Aklinski. So I think for the High Point Rockers today, if they can find a catalyst, especially down at the bottom of the lineup, somebody who can turn it over to the top of the lineup, and the Rockers can string base runners together, that's really going to be the key to success today for High Point. No Jerry Downs in the lineup. We saw he did not look 100%. Even really after his first swing of the game yesterday, was still dealing with the hamstring issue that had been plaguing him since Game 2 in Gastonia. So Roldani Baldwin is in right field today, and Xander Wheel moves from right field to the DH spot. Xander looked like he might have struggled a little bit with some of the routes yesterday, or at least a couple of baseballs that, well, the one specifically that went over his head. But all that to say, Jamie Keefe has mixed things around a little bit, and you got to keep Xander's bat in the lineup, and by putting him in the designated hitter spot, he is able to do exactly that. Pitching matchup, Matt Salter for Gastonia, 5-12 with a 4.15 ERA. It's a little misleading, though. He pitched very, very well with Staten Island this season, 5-10 with a 3.87 with the Ferry Hawks. Did struggle with Gastonia, 0-2 with an ERA north of 6. He's a guy that will give up a good share of hits. 16 home runs allowed this year as well. So for the Rockers, it's about taking advantage of mistakes. On the other side, it's Neil Uscali, 5-5 with a 5.38 earned run average today for the Rockers. 16 starts during the regular season. Another guy who will also give up his share of hits, a guy who struggled a little bit down the stretch, but prior to the end of the season, Neil was a guy who was incredibly effective for the High Point Rockers, was a very solid and reliable arm out of the back of the rotation for the Rockers today. We'll talk a little bit about what Frank Viola said about Uskali and what he needs to do to be successful, but the big thing for him is just to try to go back and revert to that early season form. And yes, I totally understand that is way easier said than done. But for the time being, for the High Point Rockers, the simple thing for High Point is play loose today. Yes, there's a lot at stake. There's a lot on the line. But for High Point, go out there and play your game. This is a team that knows how to win. And for the Rockers, it's about getting back into the win column tonight. They've taken the field, so we'll step aside for the national anthem. When we come back, it's the Rockers, it's the Honey Hunters, it's Game 4, and it's next on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Please join us as we honor America and those who protect her both at home and abroad with the singing of our national anthem, performed today by Reverend Frank Thomas. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who brought Christ and bright star through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, tonight is not a night for frilly analogies or cutesy cliches. It's actually a pretty black and white evening. For the Rockers, win, you get to play again tomorrow. You lose, your season is over. So for Neil Uskali, doesn't matter how you get it done, it only matters that you get it done. Neil on the mound today, 5-5 on the season, 5.38 the ERA. This is his 17th appearance of the year, first postseason start. Uskali gave up 14 home runs during the course of the regular season. He'll get hit. Opponents hitting .304 against him this year. But for Neil, it's about being able to limit the damage and strand base runners. Good evening, everyone. Kendrick Fruits here with you from Truist Point in High Point, North Carolina for Game 4 of the Atlantic League South Division Series. Gastonia leads it 2-1. They are one win away from their first championship series berth. The lineup that Neil Uscali will face today: Hampton, Reinheimer, Rosa, Jarrett, Skoll, Castro, Freeman, Roman, and Levy. It is an overcast evening at the ballpark. A slight chance of rain expected at some point between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight, but again, slight being the operative word, so we will hopefully hear and see good news from a weather front as this evening goes on. Reese Hampton digs into the left-hand box, ready to get this one underway. Uscali delivers first pitch, off speed low. We are underway at 6:36 this evening. It is 68 degrees and cloudy, with again that chance of rain that we mentioned moments ago. Uscali delivers down and in, and it is now 2-0. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by Grandover Resorts in Greensboro. Live, work, enjoy. Fastball misses low. 3 balls, no strikes now to Reese Hampton, a guy who you really don't want to put on base. Led the Atlantic League in stolen bases this year. Wind blowing out towards left field today, so good to see that has at least gone back to normal since yesterday. Called strike on the inside corner, and the count 3-1. See if Uscali has any early game jitters and see how long it takes him to get settled in. That'll miss outside, and that is a walk to Hampton, which brings up Jack Reinheimer. Home plate umpire today is Calvin Baker. Is Scott Hart. Calvin Baker is the first base umpire. Owen Ballard the fourth at second base, and the third base umpire is Matthew Saramelli. Rockers in the home white uniforms today. Gastonia in the gray pants and the black jerseys. Throw over to first base. Back in standing is Hampton. Reinheimer, a .281 hitter during the regular season, hitting .286 in the postseason, so just about right on tap. He swings, drives this into center field. Ben Eklinski on his horse racing back. That ball's going to be over his head, and it's going to kick up off of the top of the wall. They're waving around Hampton. Here comes the relay from Alfonso. The throw is going to be a bit late. Hampton dives across the plate. And once again, Gastonia scores first on an RBI double by Reinheimer here in the top of the first inning. Well, that did not take long at all for the Honey Hunters to pick up exactly where they left off yesterday. Brings up Joseph Rosa. Rosa, 308 hitter during the regular season, 21 home runs and 92 runs batted in. See if Uscali can pick up the first out today and hopefully settle in a little bit into some sort of a groove. Fastball up and in to Rosa, and the count 1-0. Well, the team that has scored first has won every single game of this series so far. Uscali delivers. Change up inside to Rosa, and it is 2-0. In fact, you want to look at Gastonia in this series. They have scored in the first inning now in 3 of the 4 games. Only game they did not score in the first inning was game 1, and they still scored first in that game. 2-0 coming. Rosa clips it foul, left field side. It'll go up and out of play, and it is 2-1. Uscali looking for out number 1. Delivers fastball, called strike on the low and inside corner, and it pulls the count even 2-2. Now this is a situation where some high point pitchers have run into trouble recently. Not been a problem getting to 2 strikes. It's finding the put away pitch once you get there. We saw, I think, even the grand slam that Hurley Rodriguez hit the other night came with 2 strikes in the count. So for Neil Uscali, it's about not dragging on these at-bats once you get to 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. It is inside, and the count goes full. Good speed over there at second base in the form of Reinheimer. Payoff pitch coming. That's high. So Neil Uscali starts this game walk, double walk. And that'll bring up Zach Jarrett.
Right fielder number 28, Zach Jarrett.
Jarrett is hitting 327, or at least hit 327 against the Rockers during the course of the regular season. First pitch to Jarrett. He swings, skies it into center. Beniklinski going back on it, but it looks like he'll be able to put it away. Does make the catch for the first out of the ball game. Throw comes into second base. Heading to third base on the play was Reinheimer. So we'll go ahead and set High Point defensively. It is Quincy Lattimore in left, Beniklinski in center. Roldani Baldwin is the right fielder. Michael Russell is at third base. Giovanni Alfonso makes his first postseason appearance of the year. Tyler Ladendorf is the second baseman. Logan Morrison at first base, and Logan Moore is behind the dish. The batter is Jake Skoll. Uscali delivers first pitch low. Skoll, 255 hitter during the regular campaign, 23 home runs, 61 batted in. But he has even turned it up a notch here in the postseason, 6 out of 11 in the division series. Here comes a 1-0. Fastball just low, and the count goes to 2-0. Well, one thing I think we will see tonight for the Rockers, pitchers will have a very short leash. There's no tomorrow. Rockers have to win today, so obviously you want to be able to keep your DH, and so that's still in the back of your mind. Is that pitch fouled off in the count 2-1? But when it comes down to it, I think managers, or at least Jamie Keefe tonight, will probably have a little bit shorter of a leash for his pitchers than perhaps what you would see during the course of a regular season game. And I think another big thing here is to not let this turn into a big inning for Gastonia. Maybe give up one more, but nothing more than that. Obviously, you'd like to not give up any more, but I say that realizing a runner at third base and one out, the odds are that at least one run will still score. 2-1 coming to Skoll. Pops it up in the infield. Now I think you can start discussing getting out of this inning as Ladendorf makes the catch 2 steps into the right field turf for out number 2. Brings up Luis Castro, a 273 hitter in the regular season with 12 home runs, 49 batted in, 4 out of 9 in this series with a home run and 2 RBIs. So let's see if Uscali can find the final out of this first inning. For just joining us, Gastonia up 1-0. First pitch to Castro inside. Neil started this game by walking Hampton. Hampton scored on a double by Reinheimer. And a walk and a fly out, and then an infield pop out has us with runners at the corners. 2 outs and 1 run already across. That pitch up and in, and looks like they're going to say it was a foul ball off of the bat. No, they're not going to say it was a foul ball. It's going to clip off of Castro, and so that will load the bases. A hit by pitch of Luis Castro will send Joseph Rosa to second base, and with the bases loaded, the batter will be Cole Freeman.
Third baseman, number 6, Cole Freeman.
Uscali taking some deep breaths out there. I think you can tell. Definitely a little nervous, and perhaps Frank Viola sensing the same thing. He's going to go out and talk to Uskali here in the first inning, and obviously you don't want to have to use a mound visit this early in the game, but on the flip side, in an elimination game, you may feel you don't have much of a choice if you're Frank Viola. Runner at third base will be Reinheimer. Runner at second base is Rosa. Runner at first base is Castro. Gastonia 1 win away from heading to the championship series. For High Point, they need to win to be able to play tomorrow. Lancaster and Southern Maryland are underway in the top of the first inning, and the Barnstormers getting it done. Andretti Cordero with an RBI double, scored Shawan Dunston. Barnstormers have gotten to Eddie Butler. Here's the first pitch to Freeman. He'll foul it straight back to the backstop, and the count 0-1. Eddie Butler, 12-22 career record in the major leagues. He's been a very solid arm for the Blue Crabs this year. And in fact, Southern Maryland, I think you could still argue, one of the best pitching rotations in the Atlantic League. They and Gastonia. Here comes an 0-1. That misses outside. And it is 1 ball, 1 strike. So a labor-intensive inning for Uskali. That pitch down and away. The count 2-1. Here comes the pitch. That's skied into shallow center. Actually carrying a little more than I thought, but Aklinski is there. And he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. Ultimately, Neil Uskali dodges a bullet more than not. Gives up 1 run on the RBI double to Jack Reinheimer, but it could have been a lot worse. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning. Gastonia leads it 1-0 on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Hey, Rockers fans, it is time for Hype, the Rockin' Horse. Let's make a welcome. St. Fire Equipment wants you to help us welcome the best mascot in the whole world. And of course, that's our very own Hype, the Rockin' Horse. Make some noise for him. Let's cheer on as he makes his way around the field. That's Hype. Remember, for all your fire equipment needs, be sure to visit St. Fire Equipment in Lexington, North Carolina. Gilbert Technical Community College offers a great education while offering quality, affordability, and support. So please remember, Rocker fans, choose GTCC. Choose success. Learn more at www.gtcc.edu today.
Gastonia sends right-hander Matt Salter out to the mound today. In Game 4, Salter on the year 5-12, but an impressive, at least when you consider the win-loss record, 4.15 earned run average, 25 starts during the regular season. Will give up his share of hits, 178 over 145 innings, and 16 home runs allowed, only 98 strikeouts. So the thing for the Rockers today, you're going to get pitches to hit. So for High Point, perhaps that could be exactly what the doctor ordered for a team that just struggled yesterday to the tune of just 2 hits offensively. The lineup again for High Point: Russell, Aklinski, Morrison, Lattimore, Wheel, Ladendorf, Baldwin, Alfonso, and Moore. First pitch to Michael Russell, as Salter, with the glove up over his head, delivers fastball called strike, and the count 0-1. We talked about the fact that Salter had a better year than his numbers would indicate. Russell takes down and in, 1-1. 5-10 with Staten Island, but a 3.87 earned run average during that time span. Was acquired at the trade deadline by the Honey Hunters and actually did not fare well in a Gastonia uniform as that pitch down. And the count 2-1. Was 0-2 with a 6.60 ERA in 3 starts with Gastonia, so trying to bounce back from a less than stellar end to the season. Fastball called strike at the bottom of the zone, and it's 2-2. Russell trying to be the offensive catalyst here for High Point in the bottom of the first. Down 1 early. That pitch bounced to the plate, and the count goes full. Russell hitless yesterday. 3 out of 13 with a solo home run in the postseason. Salter ready. Payoff pitch coming to Russell. He swings, grounds it up the middle. This will be a tough play for Reinheimer. He cuts it off and drops the baseball. Michael Russell's going to beat it out for an infield base hit. Jack Reinheimer just dropped the ball on the transition from his glove to his hand. And that'll bring up Ben Aklinski, who hit a solo home run yesterday. A 2-run home run yesterday. 268 during the regular season, but just 2 out of 13 in the playoffs. Rockers have a runner at first base and nobody out. See if they can answer Gastonia early today. Aklinski will take a called strike at the bottom of the zone. Much like Michael Russell didn't like the low called strike on him, Aklinski also disagreeing with the first pitch called a strike on him. Now Jamie Keefe has a couple of words for home plate umpire Scott Hart as well. Look on the pitch tracker, does look like it caught the zone. Russell takes his lead off of first base. And Salter delivers. Aklinski swings, high fly into center. Going back on it is Skoll. He's going to have space though. And he'll put it away. Russell thought about tagging up towards second base. Holds up. Probably could have made it, though, because the throw ended up being offline. But he will hold at first base. Defensively for Gastonia, it's Reese Hampton in left, Jake Skoll in center. Zach Jarrett is in right field. Cole Freeman at third base. Jack Reinheimer, the shortstop. Joseph Rosa at second base. Luis Castro is the first baseman. And Stuart Levy behind the plate. Brings up Logan Morrison. 283 hitter, 15 home runs, 54 batted in the regular season, 7 out of 11 in the playoffs. He's the only rocker with a base hit in every game so far. Salter set at the chin, delivers first pitch to Morrison, a fastball called strike on the inside corner, count 0-1. Ominous clouds continue to present themselves overhead. After we were treated to sunny skies the first couple games of the postseason, not going to be the case tonight. Morrison, a swing and a miss late on the high fastball, and it's 0-2. I think about the 2 home runs that he hit at Caramont Health Park the other day. And then yesterday, just a little blooper down the right field side. Doesn't always matter what they look like. Just the end result is what's important. As Salter fires a high fastball, they count 1-2. With 1 out in the bottom of the first inning, Rockers trying to grab momentum back here. This is a team that the recipe for success for High Point really has been for this season, grabbing an early lead and being able to protect it. That pitch down. And the count 2-2. Well, yes, they did have their share of heart-stopping rallies in the ninth innings this year. Rockers were 5-43 when trailing after 8, but they were 51-1 when leading after 8. Russell takes off. Here comes the pitch. Morrison lines it into right field. Zach Jarrett's not going to be able to get to it. It's going to get down in the right center field corner. Michael Russell is being waved around home. He will score. We're going to be tied. It's an RBI double for Logan Morrison here in the bottom of the first inning. That is now 8 runs batted in for Morrison in this first round. And he is the only Rocker to successfully hit in each of the first 4 games of this series. Batter is Quincy Lattimore now, 259 with 21 home runs, 79 batted in. Lattimore just 1 out of 11 in this series. Salter's first pitch, Lattimore swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch down. Quincy couldn't come up with it, and the count 0-1. Well, the fact the Rockers were able to respond quickly should help calm the nerves a little bit more of one Neil Uscali as well. Lattimore takes just down below the zone, and it's 1-1. Logan Morrison getting a little adventurous down there. Off of second base, Joseph Rosa somewhat staying in the area to keep Morrison from venturing too far off. Here's the pitch. Lattimore chases off speed down and away. That is a pitch that he has proven to be susceptible to and vulnerable to. Is that pitch down and away? A ball and 2 strikes coming to Lattimore. Salter holds the set. And the righty fires down and away. That time Lattimore able to hold off on that pitch. And it's now 2-2. Salter has thrown 17 pitches. Uscali threw 23 in the first inning. Here comes the 2-2. Morrison bluffed as if he were going to head to third base. That one's poked up the middle, a base hit. They're waving around Morrison. Hampton will not throw home. The Rockers take the lead here in the bottom of the first. Quincy Lattimore just reaching out over the plate and poking it up the middle. It's an RBI single, and it's 2-1 High Point. That is 100% what we're talking about when we say the Rockers need to establish some early momentum. Now a runner at first base, and the batter is Xander Wheel. Wheel 1 out of 9 in this series after 32 home runs during the regular season. Salter holds the set. First pitch to Wheel, takes low, and the count 1-0. I'll tell you what, Logan Morrison's been locked in all postseason. Quincy Lattimore may be able to break out yet. Wouldn't that be something if Xander Wheel could as well? Especially in the absence of Jerry Downs, this heart of the Rockers lineup. If everybody got hot all at the same time. Lattimore takes off. That pitch misses outside. Throw from Levy down is late. It's a stolen base for Quincy Lattimore. Lattimore stole 8 bases during the regular season. Now he's grabbed one here in the playoffs. That also takes off at least the conventional double play with a runner at second base now and 1 out. 2 balls, no strikes to Xander Wheel. Salter looks back at Lattimore. Here comes the pitch. Wheel swings, drives this deep into left center field. That ball is going way back. Hampton watches. Rockabye baseball! A 2-run shot for Xander Wheel, and the Rockers making a statement early. They've come to play here in Game 4. It is 4-1 now here in the bottom of the first inning. That'll bring up Tyler Ladendorf now, 2 out of 10 in the postseason, 17 home runs during the regular season. And obviously, even though things looking good in the first inning, you can't rest on your laurels if you're the Rockers. This is a dangerous Gastonia offense. And so for High Point, can't get content. Try to grab more while you can, especially early on. And actually, the Honey Hunters have already cranked up the bullpen here in the first inning. Ladendorf grounds it towards third. Freeman with the backhand and the throw on to first base. That's out number 2. Brings up Roldani Baldwin 0 for 3 in the postseason. Even though that was a ground out, Ladendorf still got pretty good wood on it. Honey Hunters really were cranking up the bullpen, getting people ready, but now looks like they've slowed down a little bit with the second out being recorded. It is Riley Hovis standing atop of the bullpen mound down the Gastonia side. Baldwin lines this into right field, a base hit. Left field, rather. And that is a 2-out single for Roldani Baldwin. And so here comes Giovanni Alfonso making his first start of the postseason. And wouldn't he like to get his 2022 playoffs started on the right foot? He'll have to wait at least a couple more moments. He waited 3 games already, and now he'll have to wait as pitching coach Reggie Harris is making his way out to the mound. Alfonso will be the 8th Rockers hitter to come up here in the first inning. High Point has pounded out 5 hits off of Matt Salter. As Riley Hovis working quickly in the Gastonia bullpen. Honey Hunter designated hitter tonight is Luis Roman. Reggie Harris has concluded his meeting on the mound. Roldani Baldwin, the runner at first base. Giovanni Alfonso will now begin his playoff slate. 285 hitter, 3 home runs during the regular season. And 43 runs batted in. Hit well against Gastonia this year as well. Hit .294 against the Honey Hunters with 8 of his 43 runs batted in. Obviously a defense-first guy, but he's a good singles hitter, a good contact hitter. Rockers would love for him to poke one into the outfield here. He'll take down and away ball 1. Logan Moore, the 9th man of the inning, would be up next if Alfonso extends the bottom of the first. That pitch misses outside. It's 2-0. Salter is now 26 pitches deep. Riley Hovis has just stopped throwing for a moment in the bullpen. Here's a 2-0. Alfonso swings, drives this one into left field. Long run for Hampton. He'll make the catch. Full sprint for the final out of the inning. Alfonso hit one into gap, but Reese Hampton, showing off the speed, covers the necessary ground for the final out of the inning. But not before the Rockers score 4 times, including a 2-run shot from Xander Wheel. We'll go to the second inning. Rockers lead it 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Please rise if you are currently
Top of the second inning, Gastonia will have 8, 9, and 1 coming up. That is Luis Roman, Stuart Levy, and Reese Hampton. Their bullpen has settled down and is now empty. So Luis Roman safe for the time being. 266 hitter during the regular season, 16 home runs, 72 runs batted in. We'll see if Neil Uscali settles in now, gifted a 3-run lead after 1 inning of play. Rockers with a 4-1 advantage in a must-win Game 4. That pitch, a fastball called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Uscali, by the end of the season, that's a called strike as well, 0-2, was starting to get up around the 100 pitch mark. He did not his last time out. He did run into a little bit of trouble at York, but the game before, hit 103 for the first time, or hit 100 for the first time, got up to 103. Off-speed pitch missed up and away, 1-2. Uscali did not have the best of Septembers, an ERA of 9.53 over 3 September starts. When we were leaving Gastonia after Game 2 the other day, I was walking with Frank Viola as that pitch inside, 2-2. I asked Frank, I said, look, this is the most amount of innings that Neil has ever pitched in a season, the youngster out of the University of Hawaii. And I said, is it just fatigue? Is he tired after a long year? Is that pitch a swing and a miss? Strike 3. That's Uscali's first strikeout of the game, and that'll bring up Stuart Levy, 0 for 9 in the series. So I asked Frank, I said, what was the cause for the downward dip at the end of the season for Uscali? And he said, it was not a fatigue thing. He said after his rough start, the 3 starts left in the season, he said he got up in his head a little bit and just started thinking too much. He said, we're trying to tell him, don't think, just go out there and throw. Levy pops this one up in the infield. Michael Russell drifting a step into foul territory, now back into fair territory, makes the catch. 2 quick outs here in the second inning. Neil is a very meticulous pitcher. If he can get into a groove, he'll be able to eat up some innings in a hurry for High Point. We go back around to the top of the lineup now, and Reese Hampton, who walked and scored in the top of the first inning, just 1 inning ago. Rockers infield shifted a little bit towards the first base side, specifically up the middle. Hampton swing and a miss, and the count goes to 0-1. Uscali works first base side of the slab. Here comes an 0-1. That's fouled off. And the count quickly 0-2. Well, he started this inning at 23 pitches. His next pitch will be his 31st. He's certainly on pace to get out of this inning in single digits in terms of pitch count. Here comes an 0-2. That's hit in the air into left center field. That ball is going to split the outfielders. No, Lattimore makes a nice catch. Quincy Lattimore goes into the left center field gap and pulls that one down at the track or right in front of it. And that is the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 second for Neil Uscali. And we'll head to the bottom of inning number 2. The Rockers have the momentum. They've got the lead. Let's see if they can add to both of those as we come back to the bottom of the second next on the Rockers Baseball Network. bottom of the second inning, Logan Moore will lead things off for the Rockers, 9-1-2 in the lineup. 1 run on 1 hit for Gastonia, 4 runs on 5 hits for High Point. Logan Moore hitless in 6 at-bats here in the postseason. We'll see if he has any luck against Salter. First pitch, a fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Looks like the Honey Hunters are going to get somebody on standby in the bullpen should Salter run into trouble here in the second. Moore takes that one down low as it bounces to the plate. Count 1-1. The Gastonia right-hander rocks with the glove over his head. 1-1 coming. Moore slices this one foul. Left field side. Gets up out of play. And the count 1-2. Salter was born in New Bern. Attended Furman University. Where he was a starter in that rotation for a couple of years. Here's the pitch. That bounced off of the front of the plate to the backstop. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes coming to Moore. Salter delivers. This one again spoiled foul. The count remains 2-2. Again, Logan Moore, a defense-first catcher. Really, Moore and Galino both are. But so valuable defensively and from a game-calling standpoint is Moore. That's why you keep him in the lineup despite the bat being a bit of a struggle recently as he fouls that one off 2-2. I did think, though, he and Mike Galino both put some really good swings on the ball in batting practice today. Salter shakes off Levy. Now he's ready with the 2-2. Off speed down. Moore takes it. And the count full. Again, bouncing off of the front of the plate. Actually, it might have been a check swing foul now that we look at it again. So 2-2. He swings and tomahawks this one into center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. It was a high fastball, most likely a bit up out of the zone, but Logan Moore swats it anyways, and it falls down in front of Jake Skoll. His first hit of the postseason, and the Rockers have the leadoff man aboard here in the second inning, and we go back around to the top of the lineup. Here's Michael Russell, a base hit and a run scored his first time up tonight. High Point 6 hits. One night after they only managed 2. That pitch misses outside, 1-0 to Russell. Russell is 4 out of 14 in the postseason. Good for a .286 average, was a .292 hitter during the regular season. He'll take that one up and in, 2-0. Moore takes his lead off of first base. 2-0 coming to Russell, takes a high fastball, and it's now 3-0. You've got to think that Salter may not have a super lengthy leash today. Gastonia used 3 relievers yesterday, Bowman, Bordner, and Balaguer. They could certainly get some length out of Riley Hovis. Spent most of the year as a starter, transitioned to long relief by the end of the year, as Russell takes a 4-pitch walk. Logan Moore heads down to second. That'll bring up Ben Aklinski. Mauro Gazzo already coming out to the mound, and I think this is going to be the end of the day for Salter. Yeah, Gazzo's already going to make the call to the bullpen. Matt Salter fails to record a single out in the second inning. Mauro Gazzo will call on Riley Hovis. This will give you some interesting numbers on Hovis when we come back. We'll give him a chance to warm up a little bit first. But the Rockers trying to make a statement and establish themselves early, an early 4-1 lead, and they're looking for more in inning number 2. We'll step aside, give you Hovis's numbers when we come back on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Pitching now for the Gastonia Honey Hunters, number 17, Riley Hovis. This call to the bullpen is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Working hard to always keep you connected and safe. Smile, you're on Cricket.
So Riley Hovis, the new pitcher for Gastonia. Hovis on the year, 8-5, a 5.61 ERA, 27 appearances, 22 starts, 41 walks, 98 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .242 against him, and he allowed more home runs than almost anybody else in the Atlantic League. Finished top 5 in home runs allowed this year with 20. Against the Rockers, 4-1, but a 5.80 ERA and 8 of those 20 home runs allowed. First hitter he'll face is Ben Aklinski. The infield comes creeping in, and Aklinski takes fastball inside, ball 1. Aklinski flied out to center field his first time up. Logan Moore is at second base. Michael Russell is at first base and taking a pretty healthy lead over there as well, not being held on. Hovis delivers, and Aklinski drives this deep down the left field side. It's curling foul. And the count will be 1-1. I tell you what, with the overcast skies that we're dealing with today, you lose a baseball in a hurry if it's hit up in the air tonight. I probably only saw it for the first second and a half of its journey, but I could already tell it was curling foul. So it's 1-1 to Aklinski. Hovis delivers, and Aklinski fouls it back, and the count 1-2. He's come out swinging here against Hovis. We mentioned Riley's made 10 appearances against High Point. 6 of them had been starts. Another way to look at that is of his 5 relief appearances this year, 4 of them were against the Rockers. Here's the 1-2. Aklinski sprays this the other way, up and out of play. One ball and 2 strikes. Aklinski chases down low, strike 3. So there is one away here in the second. That'll bring up Logan Morrison.
Number 7, Logan Morrison.
Morrison, a 2-run double earlier tonight. Probably would need to be something in the gap for Logan Moore to score. Logan has been, Morrison that is, not Moore, has been very good at finding the outfield gaps recently. He swings and grounds this one into the Rockers' dugout. Count 0-1. Logan hitting .667, which is 8 for 12 here in the playoffs. Quincy Lattimore in the on-deck circle as long as Morrison doesn't roll into a double play. Hovis comes set, 0-1 on the way. The righty fires. Morrison takes a high fastball. Rockers an early 4-1 lead in a all-important Game 4 for High Point. A loss ends the season. A win means they get to come back tomorrow. Tough thing about it for High Point, you would expect to see John Anderson, and High Point has had nothing for Anderson this year. Here's a 1-1. Morrison out in front, drives it into center field, not super deep. Skoll is there, makes the catch, and that's out number 2. Morrison reaching a little bit for that ball and consequently couldn't quite get enough muscle behind it. Brings up Quincy Lattimore, a base hit up the middle that scored a run in the first inning. Riley Hovis, 1 out away from potentially cleaning up the Salter mess. Here comes the first pitch. That's low. And the count 1-0. Neither runner still being held on for High Point. Should get a good secondary lead, especially if Lattimore can find the outfield gaps. That pitch down low, 2-0. Hovis comes set, third base side of the rubber, 2-0 on the way. Lattimore takes high, it's now 3-0. High Point 4 runs in the first inning. See if they can make something happen with 2 outs here in the second. During the course of the year, the Rockers did a pretty decent job hitting with 2 outs. Hovis delivers, 3-0. Called strike on the inside corner, 3-1. Well, the darkest cloud we have seen yet starting to make its way over the ballpark. Again, we did expect there could be some showers between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight. Let's see if we can get an update on that. Luckily, the worst of it is up north, but we could catch the tail end of a system that's coming through Winston-Salem right now. Here's a 3-1. Lattimore chased ball 4. It was in the left-hand batter's box, and the count is now full. That would have loaded up the bases, but Lattimore does Hovis a favor. The count 3-2 to the power-hitting left fielder. Hovis comes set, ready with the 3-2 delivery and timeout called. We will hold that thought and do it again. Payoff pitch coming. Runners will be going. Hovis Service holding the set, now the 3-2. Lattimore grounds this one weakly towards short. Reinheimer scoops it up. Long throw to first base, but it's in time to get Lattimore by a step and a half. And that is the final out of the inning. Rockers get a couple aboard. They do not score. And with that, we will head to the top of the third inning. It is 4-1 Rockers on the Rockers Baseball Network. Top of the third inning, Neil Uscali will face 2, 3, and 4. That is Reinheimer, Rosa, and Jarrett. With the Rockers ahead 4-1 in the early stages of tonight's game. Let's take a quick peek at the North Division Series. Oh my goodness. The Lancaster Barnstormers have just put 8 runs together in the second inning. They lead Southern Maryland 9-0. Eddie Butler out of the game after an inning and 2/3. But get this. Of the 9 runs, only 2 of them were earned. Jacob Barfield hit his 3rd home run of the series. Andretti Cordero with 3 RBIs. Trace Lair with 2. And Lancaster looking like they are cruising towards a Game 5 up in the North Division. There's a called strike to Reinheimer, and the count 0-1. Reinheimer, an RBI double his first time up. Uscali rocks and fires, 0-1, fastball down and away, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Neil, obviously not quite the comfort that Cam Gann has for the Barnstormers in terms of lead right now, but the way the Rockers are swinging the bats, who knows? This is a high fly ball hit deep into right field off of the bat of Reinheimer. It is a foul ball down the line. Ends up being just a long strike, and it's 1-2. Reinheimer is now 5 out of 15 in this series with 2 runs batted in. I'm going to go ahead and pass along a programming update that I was given probably, 30 minutes before first pitch today. If we make it to tomorrow, first the 1-2, Uscali bounces it 2-2. I've been told first pitch will be at 4:35 and not 4:05 for tomorrow's game. Two-two coming to Reinheimer. Uscali delivers fastball just off the outside corner, and the count goes full. Well, Neil's last 2 starts, he set career highs in strikeouts. 6 strikeouts 2 starts ago, 7 strikeouts in his last start. Rockers, quite frankly, don't care how many he gets today as long as he ends up allowing fewer runs than his counterparts. That pitch fouled off, and the count remains 3-2. Reinheimer is a difficult at-bat. Here's a payoff pitch. Hits this up the middle. One hopper to Alfonso at short. And the throw on to first base will retire Reinheimer for out number 1, and that'll bring up Joseph Rosa. Rosa walked his first time up. Uscali is at 39 pitches here in the top of the third. Salter was at 39 when he was removed from the game. Hovis has thrown 14. Pitch number 40 from Uscali. Fastball, swing and a miss. 90 from Neal. The count 0-1. Rockers used quite a bit out of the bullpen yesterday. Hensley, Castellanos, Frankoff, and Cotter. That pitch misses high, 1-1. They'd love to get 6 out of Uscali. They've not used Higgins or Dole yet in the entirety of this series, so a couple of the Rockers' back-end arms extremely fresh right now. Rosa skies it foul, left field side, and the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the third. Here comes a 1-2. Fastball, strike 3 on the inside corner. Rosa knew it. Strikeout number 2 for Uscali. He looks locked in now. He has retired 6 straight. And the batter is Zach Jarrett. Lofted one out to center field his first time out. Uscali, first pitch to Jarrett. High fastball, and the count 1-0. His fastball does seem to have a little bit more giddy up on it tonight. I wonder if he's a little amped up and perhaps channeling a little bit of that energy into the form of the fastball. There's a fastball just south of the zone, and it's 2-0. Got to battle back, but be careful with Jarrett. There's a called strike, 2-1. Jarrett has been one of the more prominent thorns in the Rockers' side this year in terms of a hitter who is just completely locked in against one specific staff, and he'll hit this one high in the air into right center. Aklinski back and makes the catch for the final out of the frame. Second straight 1-2-3 for Neal Uscali. A deep exhale for Neal as he walks off of the field. Bottom of the third inning next on the Rockers Baseball Network. High Point leads it 4-1.
Hey, Rocker fans, please join us in welcoming some of our special group members that are here tonight from Stryker Environmental. Welcome, Stryker Environmental. We're glad to have you here with us this evening. Hope you have a great time. And hey, for your next group outing, think the king at the ballpark when you can.
Bottom of the third inning, it is a 4-1 High Point lead over Gastonia. Rockers have 5, 6, and 7 coming up. Xander Wheel, Tyler Ladendorf, Rodani Baldwin, and now Mauro Gazzo is coming out to look at Riley Hovis. They're looking at perhaps something that Hovis had on the back of his head or back of his neck there. Well, the umpires, Matthew Caramelli, rubbed something off of the back of his neck, and now Jamie Keefe is going to go out and talk, I think, to Scott Hart and try to figure out. Oh, no, he's not. He's just heading to his position over there at the third base coach's box. Well, first was concerned perhaps it was an injury issue for Hovis, and obviously you don't want to see anybody get hurt. So good to see that was not the case. Here is Xander Wheel, a 2-run homer today. He was looking for a solo shot to add to it, swing and a miss. And the count 0-1. Xander hit first the 0-1, and we'll finish that thought. Pops it foul, 0-2. Xander hit the Rockers' 6th home run of the postseason. Rockers and Honey Hunters have now combined for 12 home runs in little over 3 games, 3 1/3 innings, or 3 1/3 games, if you will. We want to break it down and see how that compares to the rate in which they hit home runs when they faced each other in the regular season. They're a little ahead of pace. 0-2 coming. Foul ball. 3.7 combined home runs per game for these two teams in the postseason. A good catch is made by a fan off of the rebound. Back behind the plate, and the count remains 0-2. During the regular season, during the 34 head-to-head matchups between High Point and Gastonia, 2.3 combined home runs per game, so a little bit ahead of pace. Here comes an 0-2. Wheel check swing down and away. And it is 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Xander 2 out of 10. He's not a guy that's necessarily going to put together a crazy batting average. Here comes the pitch. Wheel swings, pops it up in the infield. Reinheimer calling for it. The shortstop will put it away, out number 1. Brings up Tyler Ladendorf. Grounded out to third base his first time up.
Second baseman, number 9, Tyler Ladendorf.
Ladendorf steps into the right-hand box, ready to go. First pitch, off speed, just south of the zone. And it is 1 ball and no strikes. Ladendorf 0 for 3 for the High Point Rockers when they were part of the 2019 postseason field, the sweep at the hands of the Long Island Ducks. Ladendorf takes that just outside, 2-0. I say at the hands of the Ducks. Should it maybe be the wings of the Ducks? The webbed foot of the Ducks? I don't know. However you want to slice it, High Point trying to rewrite things here today. Trying to even up the series and force a game 5. Here comes the pitch. Big swing from Ladendorf. Drops down to a knee. And the count 2-1. Tyler readjusts the batting gloves. Two-one coming from Hovis. Right-hander fires off speed, swing and a miss. Ladendorf, a big hack. It looked like another fastball swing from Ladendorf was out in front of that pitch from Hovis. One out in the bottom of the third. And here comes a 2-2 to the Rockers' second baseman. That's just outside. Hovis doesn't get the call. Reinheimer at shortstop looks visibly upset that was not called strike three. I will have to see on the pitch tracker. Again, our vantage point, we can't see inside-outside very well. We can only really see height. Here's a 3-2, popped up in the infield. First baseman Castro calling for it, standing in front of second baseman Rosa. And that is the second out of the inning. So 2 away, and that'll bring up Roldani Baldwin, who singled his first time up. 1 run on 1 hit for Gastonia through 3. The Rockers 4 runs on 6 hits right now. Big thing for High Point is not to fall into that rut we've talked about before where opposing pitching gets into a groove and a lot of guys get retired in a row. Baldwin, a hefty swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch, 0-1. Currently 5 straight Rockers have been retired and 6 straight Honey Hunters have gone down in succession. Hovis set 0-1 on the way. The righty delivers, off speed, goes back to the backstop, and it is 1-1. Well, Roldani Baldwin sometimes will chase pitches down and out of the zone, but not that time. That one a little too obvious. Here comes a 1-1. Hovis delivers, and Baldwin just gets a piece of it. It was an off-speed pitch down, probably should have left it alone, but Roldani did just nick it. And so the count 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Baldwin really burst onto the scene with High Point this year, picking up a lot of home runs early. Cooled off a little bit at the end of the year. A ball and 2 strikes from Hovis. The right-hander will kick and fire, and Baldwin takes outside, 2-2. Well, if Hovis is able to give Gastonia a couple of innings, and you would expect he may even hit for himself, pitcher spot would be due up 4th in the 4th inning. Baldwin cues this one foul. Got a piece of Ladendorf up at the top step. But Tyler already back at his perch. And he claims he's good. Somebody at the seats asked him if he was okay, and he turned around and said something to the fan. Now Ladendorf having a laugh with Giovanni Alfonso. Fortunately, an incident they can laugh about. Here's a 2-2. Baldwin lines this one to third base and snagged by Freeman. Good play by the Gastonia third baseman. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Riley Hovis, and we'll head to the top of the 4th. It is 4-1 Rockers on the Rockers Baseball Network. Top of the fourth inning, Neil Uscali will face 5, 6, and 7. Jake Skoll, Luis Castro, Cole Freeman. Rockers with a 4-1 advantage over the Gastonia Honey Hunters here in a must-win game for High Point. Uscali, first pitch of the fourth inning, a fastball called strike at the bottom of the zone. And the count 0-1. Gastonia has a right-hander up in the bullpen, so it looks like Riley Hovis may just be done after the 2 innings. Skoll swings, grounds this one weakly towards second base. Ladendorf charging in. Off-balance throw to first is in time. There's out number 1, and now Uscali is in that groove, having retired 8 in a row.
First baseman, number 12, Luis Castro.
Luis Castro hit by a pitch his first time up. Pitcher's spot would be due up a couple hitters from now. We'll see who Mauro Gazzo brings out in the on-deck circle in a moment. Castro, a towering pop into shallow center. Ladendorf calling for it. Alfonso now calling for it. He'll make the catch, a step in front of Aklinski. There were 4 Rockers that about collided in shallow center field, but Alfonso makes the catch for out number 2. So that'll bring up Freeman. Freeman 0 for 1. And even with the right-hander up in the bullpen, Riley Hovis has a bat and a helmet, and he's climbed out onto the top step. So it looks like perhaps Hovis may come in, or may stay in and hit for himself after all. That pitch misses 1-0. Could have been a situation where Mauro Gazzo was just kind of waiting to see how the inning unfolded, and if there was a situation where a couple of guys got aboard, then he thought maybe he would need a different hitter. But Freeman will fly out into left field, left center to be specific, and that is the third straight 1-2-3 for Neil Uscali. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Rockers still lead at 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network. Bottom of the fourth inning, Riley Hovis is back out on the mound for the Honey Hunters, and he will face 8, 9, and 1. Alfonso, Moore, and Russell, the 3 hitters coming up. High Point leads it 4-1 in the game again. We've said the Rockers have to win to force Game 5 tomorrow. Lancaster continues to pour it on in Waldorf, now 11-2. Cordero 3 RBIs, Barfield and Lair both with 2 RBIs each. Eddie Butler struggled. Alcides Herrera now struggling as well, so it's not gotten any easier for the Southern Maryland pitching staff. Now we shift the scene back here to High Point. Giovanni Alfonso Lined out into left center his first time up. Hit the ball hard, hit the ball well. But unfortunately, Reese Hampton covered a lot of ground to take away a base hit from Alfonso. So he'll be out here trying it again now. His second at-bat of the postseason. Hovis delivers first pitch to Alfonso. He'll take a fastball outside, and the count 1-0. Hovis comes set from the third base side of the slab. Here comes the 1-0. Alfonso takes outside again, 2-0. Pitch is just off the outside edge. 1 run, 1 hit for Gastonia, 4 runs, 6 hits for High Point. Hovis delivers. Alfonso takes a fastball, called strike, and judging by the body language of Alfonso, he's wishing he had pulled the trigger on that one. Hovis ready with the 2-1. The right-hander delivers. Alfonso pokes this one foul, just off the end of the bat, and the count 2-2. Ball went up and out of play right field side. It appears we are fairly fortunate from a rain standpoint, maybe a slight drizzle earlier. But all things considered, what we were worried about looks like not coming to pass. That pitch up and in, and the count full. Although as I do look down the right field side up in the bank of lights just to the left of the scoreboard, it certainly looks like there's something happening up there. But nothing over here, closer to behind the plate. Payoff pitch coming to Alfonso. Hovis delivers. Alfonso fouls it back, stays alive. Logan Moore, the next man up. See if Alfonso can get him the leadoff man with which to work. Good battle here between Hovis and Alfonso. Here comes another 3-2. Is hit weakly on the ground toward short. Kind of sawed him off a little bit. Reinheimer's throw to first in time. 1 away. Riley Hovis has retired all 7 hitters that he has faced. So where Matt Salter could not get into any sort of a rhythm, Riley Hovis has very much so been able to. So here's Logan Moore, a base hit his first time up. Hovis delivers. First pitch to Moore. He'll foul that off. That baseball actually rebounded off at the top of the net and started to make its way back towards the home plate umpire. Fortunately for all involved, the ball practically had come to a stop before it got to the heels of Scott Hart. Here comes the pitch. More check swing inside. And it is 2-1. Hovis holds the set. Here comes the pitch. Moore swings, high fly ball into left field. Going back is Hampton on the run, makes the catch. Full speed ahead as he bounces into the wall, takes away an extra base hit from Logan Moore, who hit that one well. But tough thing for High Point, the situation. You've got good speed really all throughout the outfield. The lowest amount of stolen bases by any of the Gastonia outfielders tonight is 26, so they are going to cover a lot of ground out there. Here's Michael Russell, 1 for 1. He's also walked. He's also the last rocker to reach base. He was the final batter that Matt Salter faced. Count 0-1 to him. A 1 on the way. Hovis delivers. Russell grounds this weakly toward short. Reinheimer scoops and tosses to first base. And that is now 9 straight retired by Riley Hovis. Pitcher spot will be coming up first for Gastonia in the top of the 5th inning. Rockers still lead it 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network.
All right, Rockers fans, we have some animal trivia tonight brought to you by National Dog Market. My girl Skylar over here has been practicing. She's going to have 20 seconds up on the clock. She's going to be going up against Gio. She has to name as many sports teams as she can, but has an animal as a mascot. Skylar, you ready? Yes. All right, fans, you can help her out too. Let's get going. Toronto Blue Jays, Hawks, Eagles, Panthers, Rams, the Bruins, the Dolphins. I heard Miami Dolphins up there. Buffalo Sabres. Keep helping her out, guys. Give us a couple more. You got it. You got it. Give us one more. All right. Now we're going to see how Gio did. All right, Gio did amazing, but we're going to give it up for my girl Skylar because she crushed it. Fans, thank you guys.
Top of the 5th inning, Neil Uscali will face 8-9-1. That is the pitcher spot, which looks like it's going to be Riley Hovis. So the Honey Hunters content to just let Hovis go at least for a considerable amount of time. So it'll be Hovis, Levy, and then Reese Hampton. Neil Uscali at 52 pitches here as we begin the top of the 5th, excuse me. Hovis has thrown 43 pitches in his first 3 innings. First pitch to Hovis, fastball just below the bottom of the zone, and the count 1-0. Neil, after a shaky start, has settled in so far. Hovis takes that outside 2-0. Now, you don't want to waste a whole lot of pitches here to the opposing pitcher. Uscali delivers. Fastball called strike on the outside corner is now 2-1. Swing and a foul off at the bat of Hovis, 2-2. Uscali 2 strikeouts so far. But more importantly, 3 outs away from getting the Rockers to keep the designated hitter spot. As Hovis grounds this one third base side, will go foul. Michael Russell let that ball bounce an extra time or two. Riley Hovis, who was chugging out of the box, now walking back to first base, and he'll have to do it again. I checked that walking back to the right-hand box from first base. So here comes another 2-2. Uscali fires. That's hit on the ground toward short. Backhanded by Alfonso. There's one away. Actually not bad contact from opposing pitcher Hovis. But that is the first out. That'll bring up Levy. Popped up to Michael Russell at third base his first time up.
The catcher, number 15,
Still quite a bit of baseball to be played tonight, but at least so far the script has been flipped. Gastonia hitting .311 coming into today in this series. That pitch up and in 1-0. High Point 100 points worse at .210. Rockers only had a .295 on base percentage coming into tonight's game. That pitch high 2-0. Gastonia .398. Again, still anything can happen as we're just in the top of the 5th inning, but through the first half of the game, Rockers look a little bit better today. There's a called strike, 2-1. Two-one coming. Uskali delivers, swing and a miss. Levy now down in the count, 2-2. Levy 0 for 10 in this series. Uskali ready with the 2-2. The right-hander delivers. Levy swing and a miss. Strike 3. Third strikeout for Uskali. Neal has retired 12 in a row. Go back around to the top of the lineup, and Reese Hampton. Hampton has walked and scored and flew out to left field. First pitch coming to Hampton. He swings, and that's going to end the streak. It's going to drop into left field in front of Lattimore, a base hit. So 12 straight hitters retired. And then a 2-out base hit for Hampton. That'll bring up Jack Reinheimer. He's driven in the only Gastonia run so far today with a double deep into center.
The shortstop, number 1, Jack Reinheimer.
That is the second hit of the game for the Honey Hunters. First pitch to Reinheimer, check swing down. He did not go. It is 1 ball and no strikes. Uskali looking for that final out of the 5th inning. Throws over to first base, trying to get it the hard way and pick off one of the fastest runners in the league. Not able to do so there. Uskali holds the set. 1-0 coming. Fastball hit on the ground towards third. A diving stop by Michael Russell, and he's going to have to eat it. That was right down the line. A good job by Russell to even cut that ball off. Probably saved an extra base for both Hampton and Reinheimer. It's an infield single, and that'll bring up Joseph Rosa, who is the tying run. But for the moment, Michael Russell makes a very key play potentially down the third base line. Rosa 0 for 1 is also walked. 2 away in the top of the 5th. Uskali ready. First pitch to Rosa. Rosa pops it foul. Third base side, it will carry out a play. And the count 0-1. Wind just lazily out towards left center. Even that's a improvement from what we had yesterday. Uskali ready. 0-1 on the way. Rosa under it, and a towering fly ball into left. Lattimore there, and makes the catch, and that is the final out of the inning. So the streak of consecutive hitters retired ends for Neil Uscali, but more importantly, the streak of putting up zeros on the board continues. We're halfway home. Rockers lead it 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Please remember, throughout the season, your High Point Rockers are so grateful for all of the corporate partners that help support the High Point Rockers. If you will, please take a moment to look at the video board as we recognize all of our generous 2022 corporate partners.
Bottom of the fifth inning. Ben Aklinski leading things off here. Aklinski, Morrison, and Lattimore. 1 run on 3 hits for Gastonia, 4 runs on 6 hits for High Point. All the scoring up to this point has been done in the first inning. Gastonia 1 run on the RBI double from Reinheimer. The Rockers picked up 4 runs. The big blow, a 2-run home run by Xander Wheels. Aklinski takes strike 1. The other hits, an RBI double for Morrison, an RBI single for Lattimore. Here comes an 0-1. Swing and a miss, off speed down from Hovis, and Aklinski was on top. And the count 0-2. Hovis holds the set. Here comes an 0-2. Fastball away. Now it's 1-2. A little bit of stirring in the Gastonia bullpen. Nobody throwing, but a couple of guys starting to stretch around a little bit. Hovis is ready with a 1-2. Deep breath from the Gastonia righty. Aklinski grounds it right to Reinheimer at shortstop. Throw on to first base will get Aklinski by a half step. Ben hustling down the first base line, but he is out number 1. That is 13 up, 13 down for Riley Hovis. The batter is Logan Morrison, 1 for 2. High Point bullpen empty. Neil Uscali has looked really strong tonight. Neil has thrown 68 pitches through 5. Looks like he'll get a 6th, and then we expect the Rockers to go to the bullpen 7, 8, 9. First pitch to Morrison. Hovis takes a deep breath, and the righty delivers. Morrison will take a fastball outside, and the count 1-0. We said the Rockers offensively don't want to get complacent against this Gastonia offense. So far, it has not come back to bite them, but if they can get away to add a few more, it would be an ideal situation. Morrison takes low, and it's 2-0. Morrison a hit in each of the first 4 games of this series. Hovis comes set 2-0 on the way. Rockers trying to get their first base runner against the Gastonia reliever. Morrison ropes this one into right field. There it is, a base hit. Morrison, a 2-hit night as he continues his hot postseason. Mark him now as being 9 for 14. And the Honey Hunters have a right-hander in the bullpen. It is Zach Godley. The batter is Quincy Lattimore now. 1 for 2 with an RBI single. It was a good piece of hitting, too. Just poked one up the middle, kind of went with the pitch. It was a little bit outside, or at least on the outside part of the plate. And he was able to just push it up the middle past Reinheimer and Rosa. First pitch to Lattimore. That's way down and away. Good snag there by Stuart Levy. And the count 1-0. Levy kept that one from going to the backstop. Morrison takes a couple of steps off of the first base bag. Hovis ready now with a 1-0 to Lattimore. Here's the pitch down. 2-0. Xander Wheel, the next man up, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Feels a lot later than it is. It's just 8:15, but used to being in the 9th inning or so by the time it was this dark, 8th or 9th inning. Throw over to first base. Morrison scurries back in standing. Here comes a 2-0. Hovis, another deep breath, delivers off speed, and this is a towering pop-up in the infield. Reinheimer calling for it, and that is the second out. Brings up Xander Wheel, a 2-run home run and a pop out to shortstop. Xander Wheel, 32 home runs in the regular season. That was good enough for the second highest total in the Atlantic League. Of course, nobody will remember that. The only thing they'll remember is the fact that Courtney Hawkins tied Ozzie Canseco's record of 48 home runs. But Xander, lost in the shuffle, was the next best power hitter. That pitch goes back to the backstop, comes right back to Levy. He might have a chance to throw out Morrison. He will not. It's a wild pitch that sends Logan Morrison to second base. It was a fortunate kickback to Stuart Levy, who brought back the arm as if to throw to second, but he did not pull the trigger. And Logan Morrison is now in scoring position. With runners in scoring position today, High Point 2 out of 5. Here comes a 1-0 to Wheel. Off speed away. It is now 2-0. Godley continues to warm in the Gastonia pen. Hovis is approaching 60 pitches now out of the bullpen. Matt Salter did not get a single out in the second inning. 2-0 coming to Wheel. Off speed, strike at the bottom of the zone, 2-1. 1 run on 3 hits for Gastonia, 4 runs on 7 hits for High Point. I think perhaps one of the most interesting things about this series, we are 3.5 games in, and both teams have played error-free baseball. And Hovis looks Morrison back to second base. Morrison was caught leaning towards third, but there was nobody covering second base, so Logan was able to scramble back in. Hovis ready with the 2-1. Morrison inching more off of second base. That pitch just outside, 3-1. Levy tried to hold the frame, but doesn't get the call. It is now 3-1 to Xander Wheel. And this is a spot where Hovis could get in trouble if he's not careful. Xander Wheel is looking for a mistake pitch, something to drive. Three 3-1 delivery on the way. Wheel takes outside, ball 4. That'll bring up Tyler Ladendorf. We'll see how much longer Mauro Gazzo elects to go with Hovis. Looks like the answer is at least one more hitter. Ladendorf today 0 for 2. Well, now as we say that, then Gazzo just has come out of the dugout now. And this may be the call to the bullpen. Although he has not looked down that way yet. He has walked to the mound, head down. And is talking out there to Hovis. Not taking the baseball away from him yet. And he's going to leave his right-hander in. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning, but if Ladendorf could pick up a hit, an extra base hit, anything, to extend this inning, the Rockers could try to grab a little bit of, maybe not momentum, although that would certainly come with it, but one of the phrases Jamie Keefe likes to use, hitting is contagious. A couple of hits here. High Point could be in business with some insurance runs. That pitch low to Ladendorf. 1 ball, no strikes to the Rockers' second baseman. And a balk is called on Hovis. Riley Hovis is going straight for second base umpire Owen Ballard. Oh, he is irate with Owen Ballard. Hovis pointing at him and yelling at him. Now Mauro Gazzo and Joseph Rosa getting involved. It's going to move Logan Morrison to third base, Xander Wheel to second. Now Calvin Baker steps in and separates Hovis from second baseman umpire Ballard, or second base umpire Ballard. Now he's talking to home plate umpire Scott Hart. So that'll put 2 runners in scoring position for High Point. Mauro Gazzo, all things considered, a fairly composed argument. Whatever he's saying out there, nothing over the top. While he's out there, he may end up making a pitching change. Nope, he's not going to. Well, a big balk yesterday cost the Rockers a run. Not so here, but it does move 2 runners into scoring position. So the count 1-0 to Ladendorf, runners at second and third. Now Gazzo's coming back out. I think that was just to get a confirmation on the count. It is 1 ball and no strikes to Ladendorf. Well, let's see if that rattles Hovis a little bit here. Maybe Ladendorf can find a mistake pitch to drive. Hovis comes set. Here comes a 1-0. Rockers now 2 runners in scoring position. That pitch down and away, 2-0. This could end up being a big moment in this game if the Rockers could add to their lead or if Gastonia can get out of this. Hovis comes set, 2-0 on the way to Ladendorf. Ladendorf takes off speed, called a strike. And it's 2-1 now. Godley ready in the Gastonia pin. Still the odd toss down to Alex Holderbach, the catcher, every now and then. And here comes a 2-1. Ladendorf pops it foul. And the count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. I know I ended the streak of 2s, but only so much you can do. Here comes the 2-2. Ladendorf takes it high, and the count goes full. First base is open for Ladendorf. Roldani Baldwin, the next man up. Hovis takes a deep breath. Here's the 3-2. Inside, ball 4. That will load the bases. So that'll bring up Baldwin. Gazzo is going to take Hovis out. Riley Hovis. A couple really good innings for Gastonia, but got a little rattled here in the bottom of the 5th. He'll take the baseball. Will Gazzo. Hovis walks off, and Zach Godley is going to be the next man out of the Gastonia bullpen. So we will let Godley warm up. We'll give you his numbers when we come back. Rockers have the bases loaded and 2 outs on the Rockers Baseball Network. So Zach Godley has completed his warm-up tosses. Well, Donnie Baldwin comes up, bases loaded, 2 outs in the 5th inning. Godley faced the Rockers 5 times, 4 starts during the course of the regular season. First pitch to Baldwin, way high. Stuart Levy snares it, keeps it from going back to the backstop. It's 1-0. Godley on the year, 4-1, 4.64 the ERA, 15 appearances, 11 starts, 15 walks, 64 strikeouts, and opponents hitting .248 against him. Pitched a scoreless inning already in the postseason. 1-0 coming to Baldwin. Well, Donnie's got a hit tonight. Lines this one left field side, 1-1. A single and a line out to third base, and that was actually a well-hit baseball that Clint Freeman would snag for what would be the final out of the 3rd inning. Morrison at 3rd, Wheel at 2nd, Ladendorf is at 1st. It is 1-1 to roll Donnie Baldwin. Godley delivers. Baldwin chases off speed low. Well, if you need a strikeout, this is probably the one Rockers hitter that you want to face. Baldwin wildly chasing down and away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Godley holds the set. Here comes a 1-2. That's low. Good take. And it's now 2-2. Something hit to the outfield will for sure score 1, may score 2, depending on where it ends up. Godley holds the set. 2-2 on the way. This is grounded foul. Rockers runners moving not quite with the pitch, but they're not being held on, so they're certainly being able to grab some lengthy secondary leads. Here comes a 2-2. This one grounded foul again, third base side. Baldwin walking back towards the Rockers dugout, and yep, that's the end of that bat. He needs another. Goes from a tan bat to a two-tone bat with a black barrel. He's out in front of the ball. Last couple of foul balls have been to the third base side. Wonder if Godley goes back to the off-speed pitch. Specifically, maybe something down and away to get Baldwin to chase it. Especially the way that he turned on those previous 2 pitches. Here comes a 2-2. Or another 2-2, we should say. That one goes up and in. Curveball sails in. Baldwin ducks out of the way. The count is full. Godley has thrown that curveball twice. Both times, it's almost gone to the backstop. Payoff pitch coming. Nowhere to put Baldwin. A walk forces in a run. A strikeout ends the inning. A ball put in play. Well, we will have to ride it out and see what happens. Here comes a 3-2. Godley delivers curveball, swing and a miss. Baldwin slams down his bat, striking out with the bases loaded. And a big missed opportunity. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Rockers' lead is still 3. It is... Oh, now players are emptying the dugouts, and they are meeting just by the first base, or by the right-hander's batter's box Not sure what started that. Looks like a lot of peacemakers, though, in the middle of that scrum. You know, for 34 regular season games and 3 postseason games, these two teams played nicely. That's a lot of games to play your in-state rivals, and it had been a good start to the season as far as these two teams getting along, but tensions have finally boiled over, and it's Luis Castro for Gastonia who seems to at least have something to do with it. And that would not be the first time Castro has at least been in the middle of something emotionally charged between these two teams. You think back to Gastonia when Castro hit a home run and promptly started saying something into the Rockers' dugout as he was rounding the bases. But it looks like for the most part cooler heads prevail here. Not a whole lot happens. A lot of talking, but a lot of people quickly jumping in to play peacemaker. And although that got really exciting really quickly, it also fizzles out very quickly. So, you know, it kind of feels like that was maybe due at some point this year. The Rockers and Honey Hunter. I mean, you can only play somebody so many times before something like that happens. But looks like it was fairly peaceful as far as a bench clearing discussion goes. And with that, we'll head to the top of the 6th. The Rockers lead it 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Saturday night, Jimmy Buffett, what do you think? Little Jimmy Buffett fins on. Let's get the fins cam out. Let's see some Jimmy Buffett dancing. Of course, the fins cam is brought to you always by B&H Pool and Patio Shop. Remember, B&H provides high-quality service for all your pool needs in High Point. Think B&H Pool and Patio Shop. All right, come on, Saturday night. It's the playoffs. It's your High Point Rockers. Let's see some Jimmy Buffett fins dancing. Right fielder, number 28, Zach Jarrett.
So Zach Jarrett will lead things off in the top of the 6th inning. Rockers with a 4-1 advantage. First pitch fastball inside, and the count 1-0. Looks like both teams were perhaps maybe not given an official warning, but 2 umpires talked to Mauro Gazzo and 2 talked to Jamie Keefe after the conclusion of that discussion, we shall say, over by the home plate area. The count 1-1 to Jarrett. Jarrett swings, grounds this one up the middle. Alfonso scoops it up. Nice off-balance throw to first base. So 1 away here in the 6th. That'll bring up Jake Skoll, who's 0 for 2. This one hit on the ground right to Morrison at first base. Neil Uscali getting some quick ground ball outs here in the 6th inning. Neal is sitting at just 72 pitches with 2 outs in the 6th, and that'll bring up Castro. Hit by a pitch and popped out to short.
First baseman, number 12, Luis Castro.
Here comes the pitch. Fastball called strike on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Was curious to see how the Rockers would handle Castro, as he certainly appeared to be one of the catalysts for the discussion, I think is what we're going to call it, back behind the plate moments ago. That pitch bounced in the count 1-1. That pitch swung on, a towering pop-up in the infield. Foul territory, Michael Russell there. And made the catch. Almost looked like he lost it in the lights for a moment, but it's a quick 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th inning. Good work there for Neil Uscali. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rockers still lead it 4-1 in the Rockers Baseball Network.
Alrighty, thank you. Rockers fans, I want to see your little rally towels right now. Woo! Make some noise if you guys are having fun. We have this awesome family of little Rockers fans. They've been waiting patiently to do the potato sack race. You ready? Yes. You guys are in the room. We're going to hop around that close for one. He is the winner. 3, 2, 1, get going, guys. Make some noise for us, fans.
Zach Godley back out on the mound for Gastonia in the bottom of the 6th inning. We can close the book on Riley Hovis. 3 2/3 innings, does not give up a run. 1 hit, 2 walks, and a strikeout. High Point bullpen currently still quiet. Uscali just at 75 pitches, may at least get to start the 7th inning. Rockers will have 8, 9, and 1. Alfonso, Moore, and Russell coming up here. I tell you what, I just saw Alfonso swing and a miss, strike 1. Looking down over the left center field, lots of flashing blue and red lights down there. Looks like multiple emergency vehicles. Certainly hope everything's okay down there. Oh, 1 coming to Alfonso. Fastball backs him off of the plate. And it's 1-1. Here comes a 1-1. Alfonso lines this one. What a snag! Third baseman Freeman jumping up and taking away a base hit from Giovanni Alfonso. That's the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Logan Moore, who's 1 for 2.
Number 30, Logan Moore.
First pitch to Logan Moore, fastball called strike, and the count 0-1. That pitch misses down and away. The count goes to 1-1. Here comes the pitch, fouled off. Count 1-2, Logan Moore. Rockers have 4 runs on 7 hits here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but more importantly, a 3-run lead with 9 defensive outs to go. Here's the pitch up, and the count 2-2. After Logan Moore, we go back around to the top of the lineup. 2-2 coming from Godley. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the second out of the inning. Only 2 Rockers who have not reached base today are Ben Aklinski and Giovanni Alfonso, but Gia has hit the ball hard a couple of times, just doesn't have anything to show for it. Here's Michael Russell, 1 for 2, a base hit and a run scored. Godley, first pitch to Russell. Chasing one down in the turf, and the count 0-1. I tell you what, Russell, in the span of the time that it took Godley to rock and throw, started at the back of the right-hander's box, moved all the way up to the front, and then went back again. Here comes the pitch. That's down low. Same pitch, just a little bit different location. That time Russell able to lay off of it. Godley ready with the 1-1. Russell pops it foul out of play. And 1-2 now. We need to get confirmation on tomorrow's starting pitchers. But if you base it off of Game 1 starters, it would be a rematch between Anderson and Janis. Here's a 1-2. Russell chases, strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Zach Godley in the 6th. We'll go to the top of the 7th now. Neil Uscali coming back out for the Rockers with a 3-run lead on the Rockers Baseball Network. Top of the 7th inning. Neil Uscali facing the bottom third of the lineup. It'll be Freeman, the pitcher's spot, and Levy. Gastonia has a right-hander up in the bullpen. So I would think that Zach Godley has come to the end of his day. First pitch to Cole Freeman. He's going to ground it foul. And the count 0-1. Yes, it will be Hurley Rodriguez with the bat in the on-deck circle. So Zach Godley will, in fact, be finished. But, hey, he was very, very strong for the Honey Hunters tonight. That pitch bounced to the plate. 1-1 to Freeman. High Point has Tyler Higgins in the bullpen. Higgins most likely, well, for sure would pitch the 8th inning, but I would also guess would finish this one if Uscali ran into trouble. Freeman high fly into left. Lattimore drifting back. Makes the catch in front of the track, out number 1. That'll bring up Hurley Rodriguez. Rodriguez here in the postseason. 4 out of 10 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Neil Uscali at just 78 pitches. Uscali ready. First pitch coming. That one misses outside. And the count 1-0. Uscali knows he's probably nearing the end of his day, but I'll tell you what, I think it is safe to say Neil has exceeded everyone's expectations here tonight. That pitch fouled off, 1-1. His last couple of starts, we mentioned it. His final 3 starts the regular season, ERA of 9.53. And today, just 1 run on 3 hits. Here comes a 1-1. Rodriguez takes just down low. And it's now 2 balls and a strike. Stuart Levy, the number 9 man in the lineup, coming up next. Here comes the 2-1. That pitch popped foul. Rodriguez had one of his hands slip off of the bat there. Immediately started rubbing his batting glove on his pant leg. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Uscali looking for out number 2 here in the 7th. The right-hander fires. That pitch just inside. Good looking pitch, didn't get the call. He wanted it, and so too did everybody up the middle of the Rockers defense. Alfonso, Ladendorf, and Aklinski all made similar jumping motions of disbelief. Let's look at the pitch tracker. It was a bit inside. Payoff pitch to Rodriguez. Pops it up. Left field side, it's actually curling foul and gets out of play. Ball ended up having a little bit more carry to it, but also was heading foul rapidly. So the count remains 3-2. Uscali still trying to find that put-away pitch. Pitch count up to 84. Good news, that threat of rain is completely out of the area now. In fact, really just dissipated more than anything. Another 3-2 and another foul. What's left of it up in the Durham Chapel Hill area. Higgins not really throwing a ton in the Rockers bullpen. Another 3-2. Bounces that one. Ball 4. So it's a 1-out walk to Rodriguez. That'll bring up Stuart Levy. I think the sign has just gone down to the Rockers bullpen that Higgins may be the next man, or Higgins may get the next hitter. Interesting note through the first three and a half games of this series. The first pitch to Levy. Uscali throws over to first base, and back in is Rodriguez. The Honey Hunters have hit into 2 double plays this series. High Point has not hit into one yet. Here comes the first pitch. Levy, a towering pop-up, shallow left field. Levy throws his bat down in disgust. And that is caught by the shortstop, Alfonso, and Jamie Keefe is going to come out. And I think that may be the end of the day for Uscali. Keefe looks and will make the call to the bullpen, so the Rockers will turn it over to Higgins here in the 7th inning. What a start for Neil Uscali today. Any questions the youngster may have been giving the fans, coaches, whatever at the end of the season? That has all been erased tonight. A standing ovation for Neil Uscali for a job well done in a must-win game for the High Point Rockers. Neil Uscali gives this team a chance to play on Sunday. We'll step aside while Tyler Higgins takes his warm-up tosses. We'll give you his numbers when we come back on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Pitching now for your High Point Rockers, number 29, Tyler Higgins. This ball will be bullpen is sponsored by Pregame Wireless. Working hard to keep you connected always. Smile, you're on cricket.
Tyler Higgins makes his first appearance of the postseason. Good end to his regular season. Higgins 2-1, a 1.72 ERA over 15 appearances, 3 walks, 19 strikeouts, and a 2.24 ERA. And here's a good number for you. He pitched 9 innings against the Gastonia Honey Hunters during the regular season. He did not allow a run. He'll face the top of the lineup here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. This is Reese Hampton, 1 for 2 today. Fastball inside, 1-0. I guess Higgins would also start the 8th inning. Here comes a 1-0. Higgins delivers. Hampton takes a strike on the inside corner. It is 1-1. I tell you what, the Rockers could go Uscali, Higgins, Dull. That's a pretty good way to set up your pitching schedule for the evening. Swing and a miss there from Hampton, 1-2. And ultimately pretty much give everybody else a day off heading into tomorrow if we make it to tomorrow. Here's the 1-2. Runner takes off. That's grounded foul, first base side, and Hurley Rodriguez will have to return back to first base. One run on 3 hits for Gastonia, 4 runs on 7 hits for High Point. And the big question, will there be a tomorrow for the High Point Rockers. They are hopefully just now 7 defensive outs away from finding that out. Runner goes again, high fly into center. Klinsky's got room. He's calling for it in left center. He'll make the catch. Tyler Higgins gets his man. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is stretch time. Tip of the cap for a job well done from Neil Uscali. And the Rockers offense will try to get back to work. Up 4-1 on the Rockers Baseball Network. Gastonia goes to the bullpen. Tim Naughton is the 3rd man out of the bullpen for the Honey Hunters. Naughton has pitched once in the postseason, a scoreless inning, striking out 2 during the course of the regular season. And he was 1-1 with a 4.09 ERA across 21 appearances. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for High Point here. Aklinski, Morrison, and Lattimore. Klinsky, one of 2 Rockers who has yet to reach base tonight. He is 0 for 3. Naughton, a hard-throwing right-hander. First pitch, a Klinsky check swing. It's a called strike. And the count 0-1. Naughton comes set, 0-1 on the way. Fastball, that's high. 1-1. Klinsky yesterday hit his 2nd career postseason Atlantic League home run. Was 3 for 20 last year with Lexington en route to winning the Atlantic League championship. So Klinsky trying to get back to the championship series for the 2nd year in a row. Swing and a miss there, and it's 1-2. One-two coming. Naughton holds the set and delivers fastball, fouled straight back. Logan Morrison picks up the ball on a hop and tosses into the dugout. Count remains 1-2. Klinsky, 2 hits out of 16 at-bats here in the postseason. All it takes is 1 swing, though, to get everything back on track. Not that one, though. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Klinsky's 2nd strikeout of the game. And that'll bring up Logan Morrison, who is 2 for 3. RBI double in the 1st inning and a base hit in the 5th. This guy has almost single-handedly carried this offense at times in the postseason. He's certainly been a catalyst for High Point. Naughton delivers. First pitch to Morrison, a fastball just off of the plate. And the count 1-0. Naughton ready, 1-0 on the way. Morrison swing and a miss, a big swing. The off-speed pitch couldn't connect. Here comes a 1-1. Fastball low. 2-1 now to Morrison. Quincy Lattimore, the next man up. 2-1 coming. Naughton holds the set. And Morrison grounds it first base side. And the count 2-2. Quick check in the North Division. Lancaster in the bottom of the sixth inning has an 11-3 lead over Southern Maryland. Cameron Gann still in the game. He's settled in a little bit. Gave up a couple runs early, but when you put up 8 runs in an inning, like the Barnstormers did in the second, gives you a little bit of leeway as the starting pitcher. 2-2 to Morrison. Off speed, grounds it foul. Back behind the plate, able to stay alive. The count remains 2-2. Naughton holds the set. 2-2 to Morrison. Fastball. Strike 3 looking. He knew it. So that is the second out of the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tim Naughton. Brings up Quincy Lattimore, 1 for 3. Base is empty here in the bottom of the 7th. Naughton ready with the first pitch. Off speed, Lattimore, a towering fly ball, shallow right into foul territory. Castro is there and he'll put it away. A 1-2-3 inning. With that, we'll head to the 8th inning. And the quest for will there be a tomorrow continues. Rockers lead 4-1, the Rockers Baseball Network.
Time for Help First Rocker Ball. You know you love it. Direct your attention out to the field. It's Rocker Ball time. And Rocker Ball is brought to you by Help First. Let's cheer on our contestants and head down to the field.
Alrighty, thank you, Jamie. And Rocker fans, let's make some noise. We all know that you love a great game of rock ball. Where are our rally towels, guys? Make some noise!
Top of the 8th inning, Tyler Higgins back out for, well, it'll be his first full inning of work after coming in relief of Neil Uscali. Why don't we close the book on Neil? 6 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run. It was earned on 3 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Neil Uscali has the Rockers on the doorstep of tomorrow. That is the key word. Rockers need to win to force a Game 5. So it's 2, 3, and 4 coming up here. Reinheimer, Rosa, and Jarrett. First pitch to Reinheimer, a fastball, misses outside, and the count 1-0. High point will go to Ryan Dole in the 9th inning. Right-hander up in the bullpen for the Honey Hunters now. Higgins fires a fastball that I guess missed low. Good-looking pitch, but he doesn't get a call. 1 run on 3 hits for Gastonia, 4 runs on 7 for High Point. Now Higgins misses down and away, 3-0. He's all around the plate, but just not getting any calls in the zone. Here comes a 3-0. There's a fastball called strike, and it is 3-1. Here comes a 3-1. Reinheimer, high fly into center. Oklinski there. And that's out number 1. Brings up Joseph Rosa. 0 for 2 with a walk. Good job there from Higgins. Was down 3-0 and battled back, able to get the out.
Second baseman, number 2, Joseph Rosa.
Higgins ready. First pitch on the way. Fastball up and in to Rosa. And the count 1-0. Well, you know that Mauro Gazzo trying to save his big guns for tomorrow. The Bordners and Balaguers of his bullpen. There's a called strike. And it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Popped up in the infield. Russell tracking it. It's in foul territory, and Russell makes the catch, out number 2. That'll bring up Zach Jarrett. He is 0 for 3 tonight.
Right fielder, number 28, Zach Jarrett.
2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Higgins steps off right as he was about to come set. Here comes the first pitch to Jarrett now. Higgins delivers, fastball, misses outside, and the count 1-0. Again, you think back to those first couple of at-bats this inning, he's not missing badly at all. Right around the zone. Jarrett swing and a miss. Change up, down and away, got him. And the count 1-1. Rockers will have 5, 6, and 7 coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning for what they hope will be their final at-bats of the night. Here's the 1-1, swing and a miss, 1-2. Maybe not quite the size of crowd that we had last night, but every bit as loud, that is for sure. Rockers have never won a home playoff game. They are 4 outs away from changing that narrative. Here's the 1-2 to Jarrett. Weak line drive. Logan Morrison makes the sliding catch, and that is the final out of the inning. Higgins jams Jarrett, and Logan Morrison cleans it up on the other end. A 1-2-3 for Tyler Higgins. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockers continue to inch closer to a tomorrow on the Rockers Baseball Network.
Now pitching for the Gastonia Honey Hunters, number 13, Sam Curtis. This goal of the bullpen is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Always working hard to keep you connected and see. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Tim Naughton goes 1 inning, striking out 2, and they'll turn it over to Sam Curtis. Curtis pitched a scoreless or 2/3 scoreless innings in the postseason so far, walking 1. During the course of the regular season, just a limited action. Pitched 2 innings, walking none, striking out 5 for Gastonia. So this is a guy who, in a small sample size, has had very good control. And a lot of swing and miss stuff. He'll face 5, 6, 7, Xander Wheel, Tyler Ladendorf, and Roldani Baldwin. A well-rested Ryan Dull is in the Rockers bullpen.
Number 40, Xander Wheel.
Xander Wheel today 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer. First pitch, fastball inside, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Scoreboard says 0-1. I think it's 1-0. Here comes the pitch from Curtis. Wheel just nubs that one foul, and that ball starts spinning around. Looks like curveball movement off of the bat, or off of the ball. And actually, looking at the ball that Roldani Baldwin is holding, I think Xander Wheel might have popped the baseball open. I don't think it's shaped like a baseball anymore. Here comes a 1-1. That's grounded foul. And the count 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Wheel. And there's one away, and that'll bring up Ladendorf, who's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Second baseman, number 9, Tyler Ladendorf.
Ladendorf looking for his first hit of the night. Rockers 7 hits today after just 2 yesterday. Trying to return the favor to Gastonia. There's a called strike. And the count 0-1. Donnie Baldwin, the next man up. Curtis delivers. Ladendorf pops it up. Right field side, it will go out of play. Castro watches. And it is 0-2 now. So Tyler Higgins will go an inning and a third, retiring all 4 hitters he faces. The Rockers will turn it over to their closer in the 9th. 0-2 coming. High fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Base is empty and 1 out. Curtis is ready with the 1-2. Fastball. Ladendorf pops it foul. And the count remains 1-2. Curtis ready. Another 1-2 on the way. Ladendorf just reaches and pokes this one weakly towards third. Coming in on its Freeman. He bobbles the ball. Ladendorf is safe with an infield base hit. He reached out to get that one and just tapped it off of the end of the bat. It's going to be an infield base hit for Ladendorf. A 1-out single will bring up Roldani Baldwin, who's 1 for 3. Looking ahead, Gastonia will have Skoll, Castro, and Freeman, the 3 hitters coming up, and then the pitcher's spot, who you would expect to be most likely Emmanuel Tapia, if that spot comes up in the lineup. And again, Baldwin in the lineup tonight because of Jerry Downs still dealing with that hamstring issue. Baldwin fouls that off, and the count 0-1. He's not been challenged all that much out in center field, or out in right field today. Ladendorf, a small lead off of first base. Interesting number on Ladendorf, his throw over. Tyler was 10 out of 10 in stolen base attempts this year. All of them coming in the second half. He missed most of the month of May recovering from an injury, and took him a little bit to get. Oh, goodness. Baldwin swings. High fly. Deep into left. That ball is gone. Rockabye baseball. A Baldwin blast makes it 6-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockers were waiting on a little bit of cushion, and there it is. What a shot for Roldani Baldwin. His first postseason home run. That'll bring up Giovanni Alfonso, who's 0 for 3. Gio's hit the ball hard. A couple of times tonight, just doesn't have anything to show for it. That pitch misses ball 1. Now 6 runs on 9 hits for High Point, 1 run on 3 hits for Gastonia. That pitch inside to Alfonso, now 2-0. Still 1 out in the 8th inning. Wonder if we'll see perhaps first Alfonso swings and misses 2-1. See if the Rockers end up making any changes defensively in the bottom of the top of the 9th inning. Could see Jay Gonzalez perhaps going into the outfield. Here's the pitch. Alfonso late on the high fastball. It is now 2-2. So Rockers now lead at 6-1. Here comes the 2-2. Alfonso lines this one weakly into right field. That ball is caught by a sliding Jarrett. Giovanni Alfonso is robbed not once, not twice, but 3 times today. That's the second out of the inning. Brings up Logan Moore, who's 1 for 3. Logan Moore a single his first time up. Ryan Dole continuing to throw in the Rockers bullpen. He was already up and warm, and he has not pitched yet this series, so Jamie Keefe needs to at least get his closer a little bit of work in, even though this is no longer a save situation. Moore under it, towering pop into shallow center. Coming in on it is Jake Skoll, waiting on it to come down. And when it does, it is the final out of the inning. 3 outs separate the High Point Rockers from tomorrow. A 2-run Roldani Baldwin home run gives the Rockers a little bit of insurance. It is 6-1 as we head to the 9th inning on the Rockers Baseball Network. Top of the 9th inning. Ryan Dole on the mound. Tyler Higgins retired all 4 hitters that he faced. Ryan Dole 7-1 during the season, a 3.88 earned run average, 50 appearances, 13 saves, and 17 opportunities. This is not a save opportunity. 10 walks, 72 strikeouts, and opponents hit .215 against him. He'll face 5, 6, and 7. Skoll, Castro, and Freeman. Ryan Dole, we mentioned, has not thrown yet in this series. In fact, if you want to break it down a little bit further, his last appearance came on the 16th against York. And really, he's only made 4 appearances in the entire month of September. So here's Jake Skoll leading things off. Skoll 0 for 3. Reminder, if we make it to Game 5, which we are 3 outs away from tomorrow, first pitch to Skoll, a fastball strike. First pitch is now a 4:35 first pitch, not a 4:05. It is 4:35. Which means the Rockers pregame show on MixLR begins at 4 o'clock. YouTube will join us at about 4:15. Skoll takes high, and the count 1-1. Hopefully we'll have a chance to catch up with Neil Uscali and talk to him prior to tomorrow's game. Here comes a 1-1. Dole delivers. Grounded first base side, foul. And the count 1-2. Rally towel giveaway night here at the ballpark. Fans starting to wave them around as the Rockers trying to finish this one off. Here comes a 1-2 to Skoll. Swing and a miss. Slider. One out here in the ninth. 2 outs away from tomorrow. The batter is Luis Castro. Castro 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch as well. 1 run on 3 hits for Gastonia, 6 on 9 for High Point. And we are 2 outs away from making it 4 straight games without either team committing an error in this series. That's impressive. Fastball up and in to Castro. Next man up would be Freeman, and then the pitcher's spot. Again, my guess is Emmanuel Tapia would be occupying that spot in the lineup. Here comes a fastball. It's a strike to Castro up at the top of the zone, 1-1. Dole comes set. Here's the 1-1. Slider, swing and a miss, 1-2. That's a nasty wipeout slider from Ryan Dole. The righty comes set at the belt. Here's the pitch. That's down low, 2-2. Here comes the 2-2. Castro waiting in the box. Check swing. A foul ball. And the count remains 2-2. Fastball that kind of rode up and in to the right-handed hitting Castro. Luis is 4 out of 11 in this series with a home run. During the regular season, 15 of his 49 RBIs came against the Rockers. Maybe a large part of it is simply because these two teams played each other so many times, but I felt like Gastonia had a lot of good counting stats against High Point. Check swing on the slider. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3. 1 out away from tomorrow. The Rockers came into today in a must-win situation. First pitch to Freeman, pops it foul, count 0-1. Dole comes set. Fastball just south of the bottom of the zone. And the count 1-1. Dole ready with the 1-1 to Freeman. Slider down, couldn't get him to chase. Freeman is 0 for 3. Two balls and a strike to the Gastonia third baseman. Dole set. Here's the 1-1. Misses down and away. Dole ready to battle back, try to even this count up. Here's the pitch, hit on the ground to short. Alfonso scoops up the short hop. On to first. See you tomorrow. The Rockers force Game 5 with a 6-1 victory over Gastonia in Game 4. The Rockers had to win, and they did. A very gutsy performance tonight, a stellar outing from Neil Uscali. And we have a winner-take-all Game 5 in Truist Point tomorrow. You cannot script it any better than that. Rockers Postgame Show is coming up next on the Rockers Baseball Network. Welcome into the Rockers postgame show on the Rockers Baseball Network. The High Point Rockers came into Game 4 needing a win, and that's exactly what they got. And I think you point a lot of that credit on the arm of right-hander Neil Uscali today. Gastonia gets on the board in the top of the first inning. It's an RBI double from Jack Reinheimer to start the scoring, and then at the bottom of the first inning, that is, the Rockers score 4. RBI double from Logan Morrison, an RBI base hit from Quincy Lattimore, and, of course, the 2-run home run from Xander Wheel. And from then on, it was a pitcher's duel, although not with both starting pitchers, as Gastonia reliever Riley Hovis comes in for Matt Salter in the second inning, does a great job for the Honey Hunters. You got to give him credit. And from there on, these two teams match up and trade zeros until the 8th. The Rockers get a man aboard. Roldani Baldwin crushes one into left field. And that is all the insurance the Rockers needed, as that set us up 6-1 the final score, and we are ready for a winner-take-all Game 5 tomorrow. Gastonia 1 run on 3 hits and no errors. High Point 6 runs on 9 hits and no errors. Neil Uscali picks up the victory. The losing pitcher was Matt Salter. Time of game tonight, fairly tidy all things considered. We got out of here in 2 hours and 57 minutes in front of an attendance of 1,628. Don't let that number fool you, though. It was a loud and boisterous crowd tonight. If you weren't able to make it tonight, we do hope we can see you tomorrow, as the High Point Rockers have a chance to head to the championship. Whoever wins tomorrow will be the South representative in the Atlantic League Championship Series. That's the South anyways. What's going on in the North? Lancaster leads at 11-5 in the top of the 8th inning. Southern Maryland trying to claw their way back in. Zach Collier, 2 triples and 3 RBIs so far for the Blue Crabs, but unfortunately, behind Jacob Barfield's 3rd home run of the series and a trio of RBIs from Andretti Cordero, Lancaster jumped out to an early 11-2 lead, and they've just been able to coast on that so far. It's 11-5 with 2 innings left to play. A Lancaster win would force a Game 5 tomorrow from Waldorf. Well, if you hand out a game ball for today, it has to go to Neil Uscali. 6 2/3 innings, gave up just the 1 run, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. On the other side, Matt Solter taking the loss 1 inning, gave up 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits and 1 walk. Offensively for the High Point Rockers, obviously, you get a good performance from Logan Morrison today. Xander Wheel with the 2-run home run. Roldani Baldwin, 2 hits and a 2-run home run. So lots of contributors on the offensive end for High Point. But again, I think there were some question marks coming into today. What were we going to expect, or what could we expect from Neil Uscali, who had struggled in the month of September? And I think he really silenced the doubters and ended the questions with a rough start, but after that first inning really settled in, at one point retiring 12 straight hitters, and ultimately I think he is, while obviously not solely responsible, it's a team game, but a large bit of the credit for the High Point Rockers being able to make it to Game 5 tomorrow rests on Neil Uscali. Well, we're not entirely sure the starting pitching matchup for tomorrow, but rest assured, whatever the High Point Rockers end up doing, they are certainly going to I expect it to be an all-hands-on-deck sort of situation for the Rockers tomorrow. Whoever's available will come in and throw. Jamie Keefe is going to pull out all the stops. We talked about it on Friday, or on Tuesday. It was a best-of-5 series. Then it was split after the Gastonia section. We came here as a best-of-3. That's out the window now. It is 1. It is literally win tomorrow. It's a best of 1, if you will. And that's what we're set up for, and you can't ask for anything better as we head to, well, they say Game 7 is the most exciting word in all of sports, but you have the best of 5 series. Game 5 in the Atlantic League is the most exciting words you can come up with, and so we get to experience that tomorrow. What a thrill. Well, we'll let you all get to sleep. Rest up. You'll need it. We hope to see you at the ballpark tomorrow. 4:35, the first pitch. Grab your tickets at highpointrockers.com. If you can't make it, we got you covered. The Rockers pregame show begins at 4 o'clock. YouTube will join a little bit shortly after. Big thank you to our control room and our camera operators around the ballpark for their fantastic work tonight, making our broadcast go. And big thanks to the Rockers Media Department for their behind-the-scenes work as well. That'll wrap things up for us tonight. The Rockers send it to Game 5 with a 6-1 win over Gastonia to even up the series. I'm Kendrick Fruits, wishing you a rocking good night. This has been a presentation of High Point Rockers Baseball on the Rockers Baseball Network.